Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here, worrying about poor old Armstrong. Just make sure that's muted. Worried about him because everybody's worried about him. And Robert Garmong, who I could not place yesterday, I could not remember who is Robert Garmong. Do I know him from somewhere? I'm pretty sure I know him from somewhere, right? Yeah, he's an objectivist. He wrote, what was it? Postmodernism. He wrote about postmodernism. So he does a post about Ari Armstrong. Says if this is the best that the critics of Ayn Rand have to come up with, then whatever, this is laughable or whatever. And so then he says he reread his post and he was being loose and glib in referring to him as an undesirable type. Now, I don't know why Robert Garmong made this turnaround. Okay, I'm struggling to understand this, Robert. Ari writes a book saying that Ayn Rand's ethics are not sufficient. And you want to make sure you stay friends with him and be nice to him. He says, so Ari, if you're reading this, I hope you will accept my apology for that obnoxious statement. That's interesting. He's actually talking down about himself in order to make Ari look, a little bit better or something. I mean, this is a very bizarre thing that's going on there, Robert. What's going on, Mr. Garmong, who I have a lot of respect for as an objectivist? And he wrote postmodernism and stuff. Now, is it because Ari is generally pretty good? Is that what's so good about him? Oh, greenish blue, I see your comment there. Very nice. Is it because Ari is basically an objectivist, except for he takes exception to Rand's ethics? I mean, is it because Ari... so what somebody said in the comments of the video yesterday was Ari used to write for the Objective Standard, but then after he published this book, they broke ties with him. So, Robert Garmong, I just wonder why you're so worried about Ari. Now, I'm not really worried about Ari. I actually went and watched a video about Ayn Rand as atheist by Ari, where he's replying to the left, sort of replying to the culture. The left started attacking Ayn Rand as an atheist. Well, not really. They were just pointing out to the right that she was an atheist, you know. Like, there's the right saying that Ayn Rand's ideas are important. And then the left gets a bullhorn and starts saying, remember, she was an atheist. You know, and they're not really attacking her atheism. They're just trying to get the right to not take her ideas seriously. So, what's really going on there is the left is being dishonest and duplicitous. And so Ari Armstrong takes the occasion to write a speech saying, well, actually, Ayn Rand had very good reasons for her atheism, or something like this. Sort of missing the point that the left is being duplicitous. You know, he's just replying to the left and taking their narrative for granted. So that was disappointing. Now, I don't know what there is. I don't know what there is among Ari's accomplishments that we need to be so worried about. But I am worried about the objectosphere's opinion of me. And I have been hedging my bet about how rude I should be in these things. So maybe now I'm learning that I've gone too far and I've been a little too rude. However, I just don't know why a guy like Robert Garmong is coming to the defense of a guy like Ari Armstrong, who attacks Rand's ethics. But, and he did it before. I mean, it's not like he saw my video and did it or anything like that. My video happened to be put up on the same afternoon as this comment by coincidence, but I don't think Robert Garmong saw my video and then wanted to distance himself from any attack on Ari Armstrong. I don't think that's the case. Anyway, I'm so worried about poor little Ari Armstrong. Well, not really. I'm worried about the objectosphere worrying about Ari Armstrong and why. I can't get my head around why they're worried about Ari Armstrong. And it's not just Robert Garmong, it's Amy Nasser. Or who was, I think Amy Nasser came in there somewhere. I thought Amy Nasser was in there, and Kelly McNulty Valenzuela, who I don't know. But I have a lot of friends. If my friends list suggests that you have like more than certain hundreds of mutual friends with me, then I'll press add friend, just because mostly they're objectivists or intellectual types, I think. Now my circle is getting pretty big. Pride Wolf is here. Hello, Pride Wolf. So there we are. That's what I'm worried about. Garmong, worried about Ari. Me worried about the objectosphere worrying about Ari and why they're worried about Ari. Oh, poor Ari. Some sort of an objectivist who then writes a book criticizing Rand's ethics, or saying that we need to put whatever he said. I don't know. Whatever he said. We watched the video. It wasn't very clear whatever he said. All right. That's Ari Armstrong. Now, before I go, I just can't, I'm so worried about all these comments and stuff and me being criticized for criticizing a critic of Ayn Rand. What? I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And maybe it's just Ari is part of the in-group and I'm not. And so I'm just being reminded that Ari's part of their in-group and I'm not. I don't know what it is. So I'm so worried about that I can't really concentrate. But I was watching this series that I want to show you. Part 2 is just the fact that I was on part 2, but you should watch part 1. Phantoms in the Brain. And it's pretty interesting. I do want to show you a part right here. This is interesting.
The surface of the body. The entire left side of my body, skin surface. The reason we think it happens is that in the brain, there is a complete map of the surface of the body. The entire left side of my body, skin surface, is mapped on to the right side of my brain along a vertical strip of cortex.
That is a literal fact. He is not making an analogy. That is a literal fact. That the left side of your brain is mapped onto a specific area of tissue in the right, so left to right, right to left.
Which we call the somatosensory cortex. Similarly, the right side of my body is represented on the left side of my brain.
Not an analogy. This is literally true.
So every point on your body surface has a corresponding point on this body map. Now it turns out that the representation of the face on this map is right next to the representation of the hand. Now that's a bit surprising, as you'd expect the map to be continuous.
Now what's happened is this guy has had a stroke. Or no, he had a motorcycle accident. And he lost his hand. So this area of the brain is no longer getting sensory input because it is dedicated to the hand. And it is no longer getting nerve input. So it's very hungry and it's listening very, very strongly or very quietly. It's in a very quiet chamber and it's listening for any noise it can hear. And when it hears noise over here, it goes over and connects and tries to get that noise. So this area is invading this area because this area is dark and dead and needs action or something like that. However you want to understand it, he does not have his left hand anymore, and he feels his left hand on his face. He feels his left hand on his face. these continue to be dedicated to his left hand, even though his left hand is gone. And when the doctor strokes a Q-tip on his cheek, he feels his hand. When the doctor strokes a Q-tip on his cheek, he feels his hand. Was it right here?
Across your phantom hand. I'm going to run the Q-tip
On my nose,
Okay.
my chest.
Chest. Okay.
I can feel that on my cheek, and I can feel rubbing on the phantom left hand.
On the phantom left hand, in addition to your cheek, I'm going to run the Q-tip across your jaw and see what happens.
I can feel the Q-tip on my cheek, and I can feel a stroking sensation across the phantom hand.
You actually feel it stroking across your phantom hand. So here is a medical mystery of sorts.
So, what's happening?
And start activating, but they now invade the vacated territory corresponding to the missing hand and start activating the hand region in the brain.
Because that region of the brain's still active, it starts taking on the activity from the area next door. Now, I thought this was interesting because this is just, now for the Kantians, this is proof that we construct our reality inside of our brain, and that our left side of our body is mapped on our brain, whether we lose our arm or not, etc. But it doesn't need to be, that doesn't need to be the case. We can view this as evidence for the fact that we have senses that are connected to reality. I mean, this, if you have your philosophy straight, this is just normal stuff. There's nothing amazing or bizarre or mind-blowing or impossible to understand about it. But if you start off with Kantianism, then you're wrecked. You're wrecked. You can't even understand what's going on. Now then, I don't know how long. I think I'll play a battle or two here, and then maybe do some Kant or something. I don't know. I'm dreading the Kant because I read ahead and it's getting thicker and worse. Somebody left a comment that said, haha, you haven't even gotten to his arguments yet. You're just in the preface or something like that. Or just you're just looking at his conclusions, was it? I think that might have been it. They said you're just talking about his conclusions right now. You haven't even gotten to his arguments. Now, it's not going to be any more substantive. He declares right in the preface that he's not using evidence. So, and he makes fun of everybody who goes along with him and believes him, and he's trolling you guys. All you people who say Kant is brilliant, Kant himself is trolling you. He knows that he's not brilliant. He knows it's a wreck. And he says in a snide, sort of snotty way, he says, you don't want to be common, do you? The common people require evidence. You don't want to be common. Be sophisticated like Immanuel Kant and just work with ideas inside your head that aren't connected to reality. That's what he says. All right. Oh, I suppose we shouldn't say such mean things about Kant, should we? Be nice to Immanuel Kant. Somebody writes a book saying that Rand's ethics is wrong. And a major objectivist wants to make sure that we're all nice and polite to him, or something like this. A major objectivist was moved to point out how utterly absurd Ari's writings were. And then the next day made a public apology for having said this. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I don't really get it. I don't get it. It might be something that'll become clear eventually, who knows. Is Ari Armstrong in some sort in the objectivist movement or something? It doesn't seem like. I just don't get it. Whatever. I'm so worried about the objectivists who are worried about poor Ari Armstrong if we're going to hurt the feelings of a guy who is attacking objectivism. And the issue is, of course, public perception. We wouldn't want the public to perceive us as bad or mean or rude or crude. We want the public to perceive us as sophisticated. And humiliating one's enemies is not a value. Humiliating people is not a value. Humiliating people is not a value. Okay. That's true as far as it goes. But we're not talking about humiliating people. We're talking about humiliating someone who attacks Ayn Rand's ethics as insufficient or incomplete or... Oh, for hell's sakes. Gun's loading so slow, it's killing me. Now my gun load time has doubled. Poor Ari. Oh, I'm so worried about it. Robert Garmon, why are you... Oh, okay. You know, I might not be able to rest my subconscious on this until I can find an answer to why this happens, why this is happening. Why are we worried about people that are writing books about how Ayn Rand's ethics are not right? Why are we trying to be friends with them and worried about... Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to me that Robert Garmon would say something. Okay. All right. So it was an ill-considered statement he made. If he had it to do over again, he would simply say that Ari's ideas are incorrect and not that Ari was a questionable type or an undesirable type. Fair enough. He had a pretty negative reaction. He had quite a negative reaction. And he said that Ari was an undesirable type of guy. In public. Fair enough. But how far back are you willing to take that? I mean, so you're going to take it back and say, okay, it was a little snide. He described it, Robert Garmon himself described it as an obnoxious comment. I don't know. Who's being obnoxious? The person who attacks Ayn Rand or the person who points out that the person who attacks Ayn Rand has shitty arguments? So, maybe should we say that manners occur in a context? Manners don't occur in a vacuum? Manners are not a platonic floating abstraction. But there's the ableftosphere, right? There's objectivism, and there's the objectosphere, and then there's the ableftosphere. And the ableftosphere is all the Democrats who think they're objectivists or something like that. which some people say Huron Brook is part of. And some of you guys are really mad at Ayn Rand Institute and stuff. I want the Ayn Rand Institute to have more teeth, but I haven't had the extreme criticism that some of you guys level at them, which is either evidence for me that you guys are slightly crazy, some of you, I don't know, because I haven't seen the trouble that you guys are worried about, or that I just haven't seen it yet. And so maybe I'm now seeing it. I'm now seeing the crazy, wild, leftist, polite police, the objectivist politeness police, ostracizing an objectivist who's seen as being impolite. Okay. Robert Garmong, who I have had such great respect for. My goodness. Robert Garmong, who I still have a great deal of respect for, and wouldn't say otherwise. But I'm really confused, Robert. You did that in public? You said, Ari is a questionable type. If this is the arguments that the enemies of Ayn Rand have, then this is it's garbage. We don't have we have nothing to fear. This is garbage. Something like this. And then, did I get a shot off at least? Yeah, I think I at least damaged him. Hope. Okay. Robert Garmong, damn you. Just because I value his life and work and friendship and knowledge so much, and then and he makes a post about Ari, and I thought, well, that guy had better not be writing books about Ayn Rand's ethics being wrong, or else he's going to put himself at my mercy. You know, anybody who attacks Ayn Rand's ideas or says that there's a problem with Ayn Rand's ideas or questions Ayn Rand's ideas, and then their arguments are a tissue of nonsense, they put themselves at my mercy. They put themselves at anybody's mercy when you go out in public and make a stupid argument like this. See, now I'm getting all fired up about it again. Of course Ari's an idiot. God damn it to hell. Did you watch the fucking videos? Oh, God damn it. Now I'm upset again. I was supposed to clear my conscience about this. I want to know would like to know why Robert Garmong reversed his, well, he didn't reverse, he backtracked. I want to know why he's so worried about poor Ari. Or is he worried about his reputation? He wouldn't want to be thought of in public as somebody who would smear people or something like that. But I'm officially over it now. I've decided I'm over it. It's a really weird team. It's very, very, very slow and weird. Very weird. So painted at the park. And I've done it 3 times now. Taken my paintings down there, set them up on this little concrete wall that exists. Oh gosh, that scared me. And I just paint away like a happy little painter. They're gonna keep on getting me. That's why you don't come down this road, but I didn't want to help my team over there. They're being stupid. And I've managed to sell painting every time. Yeah, my gun's messed up. Some of the paintings I sell for $5 if they're small canvas. Medium canvas, 10, large canvas, 20. And then I have a few really big canvases, the paintings that you guys saw behind me of the desert scape or whatever. 50 to 100 for the really big ones, but I only have 2. So I don't have a big selection of them or anything. There he is. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, good. Actually did some damage. Yeah, that flank over there totally collapsed. Everybody was just sitting there waiting for the enemy to take up good advanced positions, and they finally moseyed on over there. Oh, god damn it. Well, I do need to get a microphone because some of the objectivists attacked me for having a insufficient setup. Funny criticism from pretty much anywhere in the world makes me laugh, except when the objectivists say something. I take that pretty seriously and I actually, stop and think, well, oh boy, let me see, maybe I better check my premises. I'm pretty worried about Ari. I'm going to do some more videos on his stuff. I mean, I have to admit it was a bad rambling video because his speech was a bit, I skipped the first 15 minutes because it's no substantive. No substantive. And I watched a couple of his other videos, and I'm sorry that Ari Armstrong does not serve steak at his dinners. He is one of those guys that serves bowls of gravy and hands you a fork and a knife. So, but we will, sure, I was going to say we'll find something to chew on. I don't know if we will, but we'll do what we can. Me and this guy are looking at each other. I don't know what it is. That's silly. He's in a Chinese version of a tank, and I'm in the Soviet version, or something like that. He's in the Soviet or in the Chinese. He's in a more advanced, I'm in the less advanced, something like that. These are twins. These tanks are twins. Or cousins. These tanks are cousins. See, this is kind of a team sport, this tank game that I'm in. I despise team sports. The Greeks didn't play team sports. The Greeks did not play team sports, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that, okay? The Greeks didn't play team sports. Now, somebody said relay race. A relay race revolves around the individual, right? It totally revolves around the individual, right? Now, this is a team sport. You can't win without your team. But if you're brave and courageous, you can carry your team. If I mean, there are people that are cowards and they don't want to get shot or killed for whatever reason to raise their survival rate or something. They're out there, they exist. Missed my chance to take a shot, damn it. That was garbagey. That corner up there is the key to the whole thing. There were two of us up there. It's the key to the whole map. Which, if you play the map a few times, you know. So maybe those were unawares players. Well, I'm going to dive into Kant at some point again. And I think I just don't know how exactly to go about it, because it is going to get worse and worse the further he gets away from concretes. And it's going to get to the point where we're just describing his fantasies. And it's kind of like a complicated daydream. And have you ever had a friend who said, I had the weirdest dream? And then he tells you about it and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and it's total nonsense. That is Immanuel Kant's philosophy. So if you get bored listening to your bogus friend's bizarre dreams, then you probably aren't going to be interested in Immanuel Kant's philosophy. But the type of people who sit around and analyze their dreams are just the type to read Kant and think that's just their thing. All right. Jeez. Not sure if I'm even. Oh, my team's. I'm thinking about Immanuel Kant. I'm not supposed to be this far ahead of my team, I don't think. Better wait for them. Oh, geez. I was totally zoned out. I was totally in categories and the rule of reason or whatever. Kant's. Oh, the song. We must first divide cognition into rational analysis. I was bringing some of those through my head for some reason. Paying no attention to my Tink game. There have been a couple of occasions where I just had to quit the Tink game. Oh, I think it's against the rules to quit in the middle of a game, but I've had to when I had a video idea or something that I had to do, and I just had to quit, just had to go. And so these guys don't realize once in a while there's this tank that just quits in battle, and it's because he's off to write something down or do a video or something like that. All right, yeah, I can't concentrate on this tank. Okay. Oh, you guys are active over here. What's going on here? Ari is a skeptic. Ari isn't good. Why not humiliate him? I don't know. That's what, and Robert Garmong humiliated him. And then the next day he said, sorry about that, Ari. So. Amy Peikoff is for open borders. Huh. Really? listen to her or Euron very much because it's sort of, I don't know, sort of just go. It's like they're trying to introduce everybody to objectivism. It's like, all right. Well, I mean, with Euron anyway. Amy, I don't know really very much. Everyone at RI is worried about optics. Oh, really? About how things look? Oh dear. I should watch Ari's video on veganism. You're good at team esports? Oh boy. You should read Kant. You should read Kant. Well, not if you can just watch my videos, but you should read Kant just to realize what he is. Not for the profundity of it, but just to read and get what he is. Yeah, exactly. You should always read your enemies. Well put. All right. Well, I don't know what video to go do, but I'm done procrastinating now. Thanks for coming on, guys. I'm gonna try to straighten out my head about Ari. Poor Ari. Poor Ari. Let's not offend him. Let's make sure we stay friends with him. All right. Thanks for coming on. Where's my closing window?